Good morning, and we are live. So over I don't know how I often talk a lot. I talk a lot about how to leave the United States or how to be an expat or how to travel the world. But one of the things that was pointed out to me by one of the young men who came to me for some advice, he says, well, what if you're still in college? And it occurred to me that there's an entire group of experiences that I've never shared with you. And it's that I didn't start traveling as an adult. That I started traveling when I was a kid. You know, I got to go see a few places, but the real kickstart was when I was in college. And there are a lot of things that you can do. I don't care if you're 18, 19, 20, whatever age you are, and you're still in college. And I wanted to share some of that with you. And I hope that you share this video all over the place, because I have a lot of friends with children who they're trying to figure out how to get to see the world, even though they don't have $1 million to spend. I have a lot of people that come to my channel and ask questions about travel, and I really want to address this. And the first thing I want to tell you is, and this is going to sound like I'm being patronizing, but I'm not. The first tip is get good grades, because everything else that I'm going to tell you that opens up for you, it starts with having good grades. When you're in college, nobody expects you to have a resume unless you did some part-time work, but that's not even taken seriously. What you should do, get the best grades possible. Like, save all your I'm going to screw around and have fun time for those times when you get to just do it, seeing the world. I'll tell you in the beginning how I did it. One of the things that I would do is I would often go to school, not just for first semester or second semester. I would even go to school during a summer course just to get a little extra time on the playing field, because if I could take another school semester off, I could do it someplace else. You all heard the story. I'm going to show you a quick writing that I did about Hawaii, and I called it the Hawaii Hustle. But one of the things that I never pointed out to a lot of people is that I had to go through a process for this. I went through a process called National Student Exchange, where they gave me the option of going to any university I could sign up for, but of course, patronizingly, they said, well, Hawaii is very competitive, but if you have good grades, you can do it. I got to go live in Hilo, Hawaii for 6 months as a student, completely paid for by my school. Why? I had good grades, and I learned how to write letters. I learned how to do applications. It was amazing. I could have gone anywhere inside the United States. I chose the most difficult place because I knew I could qualify for it. The program was free. The trick to programs like that is most people who are have-nots or don't come from families with money don't already know about those programs. And some of you have seen my other videos where I say money is everything. It really is. The more you have, or rather, the less debt you have, or the more financial freedom you have, the more freedom the world will give you. You get more options when you don't struggle. Another thing that I did, it was called, I'm going to show you this, and I want to make sure it's still in operation, but it was the British University North American Club. They called it UNAC. I'm sure the program has changed, but it was volunteer and working abroad. I applied for that program, and I got to go live in, I think, Australia for 6 months. That was the time I spent in Australia. All you had to do was be a student in good standing and apply for it. Most Americans will never leave America. That's neither good nor bad. But if you want to see the world, if you really want to do something else, you don't have to pay for it. I want to be clear. They're not giving me any money for this. As a matter of fact, I want to make sure everybody knows what I do for money, because I don't make money as a YouTuber or a Googler or anything like that and with ads. I'm a writer, editor, copy editor, proofreader. Anything you need done in university level English is what I'm hired for. I'll show you my LinkedIn profile. This is how I earn money. And if you need someone like me to write a resume for you, edit your book into university level English, help with a college paper with Chinese students, I do a lot of their, well, okay, I'll be very honest. They will pay me a lot of money to write their papers for them. And I will, because I'm okay with that. But if you catch up with me here, I want you to make sure everybody subscribes to me here and clicks the thumbs up. But also professionally, I want as many contacts as I can. Catch up with me on LinkedIn. Feel free to go through, look at the references I have, and that's what I always do for that's what I always do for my own self-promotion, is I'm the result of a lot of this. A lot of this comes from making contacts, traveling the world, doing different things, being able to see and come back with experiences that make me more marketable. So I encourage everyone I encourage to do something traveling the world abroad. Another way that you can travel the world, and this is kind of old-fashioned, I don't suggest moving without a plan, is when you go someplace and can find a way to work on the books. Now that's become harder and harder. When I was younger, I could get on a plane and go to London and just find a job helping manage a restaurant or even being a waiter. And it wasn't that big of a deal. I think those days of kind of the wild, wild west with that are gone. And one of the reasons that I want to do this is I hear too many people talking about, I don't want to go to college, I just want to travel, or I don't want to go to college, I'm just going to start my career. I am this curmudgeonly, old-fashioned person that will tell you college at all costs. And yes, I know it's too expensive. But right now you're caught in a trap. If you don't find a way to go to an affordable college, because newsflash, you don't have to go to the super expensive college. How about just do really good at your local state school that'll get you in at a discount? Or do what I did. I went to New Mexico State University, a state that I wasn't born in, and I negotiated. I said, listen, my grades are good enough to get to a lot of places. How about you give me in-state tuition and we'll call it a day? Oh, I don't really want to do that. Okay, well, I'll go someplace else. And they folded because some money is better than no money. And I'm trying to bring balance to the force. Everybody talks about how university and you shouldn't have to pay for it anymore. Well, you do. What happens after the next election or the next government isn't going to help you now if you're college age. So even if they make college free during the next administration, which, let's be clear, nothing's free. It's going to come from somewhere. It's just a matter of how honest people are about it. It's not going to help you now. I believe that college, particularly if you are not a white man, you don't get away with not being qualified. I hate to break it to you, something that black children are taught every day is to do twice as much work with half the effort. Scientific study after scientific study has proven if you're black with a university degree, you get maybe as many opportunities as a high school educated white man. I could complain about the way the system works, or I could look at the facts the way they are and bend them to my will. And I'm trying to give you the game, particularly the younger people who may watch this. College is expensive, but you don't have to go to an expensive one and manipulate the college system. What you don't know is that while you're in college, you get a lot of student tuition plans that allow you to travel the world half price, 20% price, just because you're a student. Again, you have to research this. If anybody wants to contract me to help them research this, it's not what I do professionally, but I still have a lot of connections in that world. But what I don't want you to do is just jump off the cliff. Because I'll tell you a little secret about the people who come into any industry, even my industry as an editor and a writer, who don't have a university degree. You see, they can get the same jobs that I have. I've been in working situations with other professionals who are just as qualified as I am, but here's the dirty trick nobody tells you. If you don't have a university degree, a college degree, you have to be overqualified. I routinely sit down next to men who are earning the same contract salary that I am for working in the same client business or working with this company, and they're 10 times more qualified than I am. Why? Because if you don't have a college degree, for the rest of your life, you're going to have to try to make up for it. There will always be people telling you, I know you've got all this experience, but here's another news flash. When your business moves, and I hope everybody's does, I hope one day, I don't care if you're working for a company or for yourself, that your business moves past it's a part-time hustle gig. Because when you start to move into that mid-level of business and the higher mid and the high level of business, in order for them to justify your salary and you having a college degree, it goes hand in hand. Even if that degree isn't necessarily relevant, they'll say, well, he graduated with this, then he went into that business, and usually the departments will say, all right, we'll sign off on that ridiculous paycheck you're going to give him. But no matter how qualified you are, if they go to the pay department and say, we want to pay this guy this amount of money, they're going to look at you and say, why should we pay him this? He doesn't even have an education. Well, he has all this life experience, he's got all this business experience, and they're going to say, yeah, but you can't prove it because education matters. Let me be clear about that. Don't be in that situation where you don't realize it until you're 30, 35, 40, because that's when the cutoff is real. Under 30, people can get paid pretty close to the same wage for pretty much the same difficulty of job. But after 30 is when you see that real split in the world. After 30, now people are going to expect you to have more than just some ambition and a smile. No one's going to give you the credit of youth. If you don't have those things that the rest of the world is going to surpass you on, you're going to go down. Not stay the same, mind you, you're going to go down. And if you're one of the few people who just had to bleed and sweat to go up, you're going to go up. If anybody wants to come on and fight me on this, you're more than welcome to come and see me. The kitchen is open. Anybody can sit down across the computer from me. You've seen me have some great discussions. But I will die on this mountain. You need to go to college. Excuse me, I had a moment there for a minute. I'm Generation X, and I freely admit that we had a lot of advantages that other generations don't. We had the advantage of learning without the internet, learning our fundamentals of reading, writing, arithmetic, reading entire books, which no one does now. But the internet allowed us to magnify that. Now I'm routinely working with people who, there's a young YouTuber who I was giving some advice on setting up a channel, who said, well, I don't really need to write descriptions. I said, why? Well, listen, you're in a different generation. My generation, no one reads. They'll just look at the picture and the words in the front. And it hit me that I might be wrong, that, yeah, the people you're marketing to don't. I don't want that crowd. I want those people who like words. That's why you don't see me doing a whole lot of flashy intros. Could I? But even if I'm not gonna spend money on the intro. That's not gonna happen. I'm not that guy. I have to spend the money on something else. I don't want to rant on this. I want to tell you that getting out of the United States doesn't just have to mean I'm done with everything. I've done my 10 years of work that I've gone into in other videos, and I'm just gonna get out for good. Start getting out one toe at a time. What happens to your life if you can spend 3 months a year, just 3 months a year, your summer vacation, 8 months a year. Let's say you spend the first 2 and the last 2 weeks with your buddies and your family. Do you know how much it changes your life to be able to say, every summer I go to this country to learn more about the people and the culture there? Let me do something. I was ignoring some of the people in my chat. I didn't even realize it. Good morning. I apologize for not catching up with you earlier. I was kind of ranting. Reigning woman, I can always count on to show up, and thank you so much. Let's see. Oh. Harvey Williams, is the return on investment from college really worth it given the current cost of tuition fees? Let me be clear, Harvey. It depends on the college and the cost you go to. If your intention is to go to a giant Ivy League school with a worldwide reputation, then you need to have the grades that support a full boat scholarship or come from a family that can go into it. Is the investment on college worth it? Yes. Is the investment in debt worth it? Probably not. Not when if you're a guy like me, and I tell people all the time, my success in life, physically, financially, socially, it's not because I'm special or even good. I just make small gains everywhere I can, maximize what I can do. I went to a college, New Mexico State University, to get my second degree, my bachelor's degree, and I hustled it from there. I don't have debt. One of the reasons that I can live this life of traveling the world, people think I'm rich. I just have no debt. No debt, no kids. I'm good for the rest of my life. Even if I only run a few small businesses, I'll always be on the plus side. But stay away from those high dollar. Oh, NC Worker. Good morning, NC Worker. But going back to what you said, Harvey, you're right. The return on investment for most people just is not there. It's not there at all. But for those of us who make the decision to say, I'm going to get the best price for value, realizing that college, if you can go to a great Ivy League college and an expensive college, I encourage you to. The connections that you make there are immense, that last your entire life. I had to work harder to make quality connections because I didn't come from a university that had the sons of billionaires, but I did it. And the cost to me overall was definitely worth it to go to college, get a couple of degrees that I could use in management that can take me anywhere in the world. That's another thing. Y'all can get mad if you want to. Get a degree in something that makes money. I can't tell you how many people that followed their passion and got a degree in something creative or something artistic. Science, technology, engineering, math are always good. I parlayed my management degree into a math job as a financial professional with investments in mutual funds and heavy cash value life insurance and term life insurance, which we can talk about another time. But I'm here to tell you, it matters. Don't go to school for some degree that when you research it, you realize everybody who went to school for that. Remember, the greatest pianist in the world, which you can probably name maybe one or two, the greatest pianist in the world, the greatest painter in the world, isn't going to make any money on it until they're dead. I would rather see you as a bunch of people who say, listen, I really don't like this job, but I got in corporate America as a manager, a mid-level ass manager making an average salary, but you follow the other part of the plan that I've laid out where you take 10 years and you work your ass off in one field and learn how it works in and out, then tell them all to go screw, okay? You say after 10 years of this job that I might not like, I'm just gonna go create my own business now that I know how business works. But again, I'm at that curmudgeonly stage in my life. I don't know why I get so many young people coming to me talking about, well, that sounds hard. Yes, it's hard. So is lifting weights. So is learning how to talk to women. Nothing that you want in life is going to be easy if it's worth having. There's a lot of low-hanging fruit out there. People that are happy when they're young, but then they get to, I'll be 43 next year. You know, and I probably tell people, they're like, oh, you don't look that old. That's because my life isn't stressful. I did all my stress young. I did all my hard work before I was 30, 35 years old, and I got out of the game at 37. I'm telling you, it's because I invested in an education. I invested in an education that mattered, and I used my entire time in education, not just to go to school, but every chance. Yeah, I was telling them that earlier. But I write resumes and I do a lot of things in editing. So if anybody needs me to come and see me, it's one of those situations. Oh, let's see. BK from the Rockies. I paid for all my education via scholarships and fellowships. Hey, there you go. There you go. I remember fighting to get a situation where I could do some after school work for the university, but it was worth it. I remember times when I would leave school, go to a job from 4 or 5 p.m. until 10 p.m. in a restaurant, and then work from 10 p.m. till 2 p.m. as a bouncer. And there were days of the week I didn't sleep, but I did it while I was young. So by the time I was a little older, the game had changed for me. So going back to other ways to leave America, I just showed you 2 online resources. I've got a couple more backed up in my brain, and there are some people on this channel with me that come by to visit that want to sit down and do some one-on-one about what they do and what they can offer people as far as information or resources to help them get to where they need to be for themselves or maybe for their children. And I want to do that. I want to help you do that. Let me think, what else can you do while you're young? Here's another one, right? As far as leveraging that student thing. And as I see more and more of the world, having lived in 15 countries across 5 continents, learning a second language is immense. I have a friend who has 2 children, and they're already talking about how can we pay for their college? How can we pay for their college? I said, listen, if you've got kids, especially if they're kids that are in junior high or below, take 1 weekend. I told her, this is exactly how you're going to trick your kids. Hold on, let me see something. Also, I made it a point not to go back for more degrees in debt unless I had a monstrous return on investment. It had to be worth it before taking on debt now that I'm essentially debt-free. Amen, BK from the Rockies. Preach it. Tell these people. There was a period in my life where I was offered a situation where I could go back for a master's, but I really looked at my master's, and the way it worked out for me is unless I was going to do a PhD directly afterwards, the master's wasn't going to make me that much more money. It would give me prestige to say I have a master's in something, and a PhD would give me prestige, but then the PhD would have to be in something specific that I could make money on. With my associate's degree and a bachelor's degree, I'm out here return on interest all day, every day. But this is how I told my friend how to trick her children into helping her not have any college stuff to pay for them or see her children saddled with debt. Take a weekend and say, we're going to spend a big family weekend, movie marathon weekend together. Show them movies from different countries, all with subtitles or 50-50. Show them one from like maybe a Korean horror. No, I don't. Well, my father showed me horror films really young, and I think that made him either a very responsible father or a very irresponsible father. So, show them Korean horror. Maybe show them some of the London, not London, even though they speak a lot of Hindi in London. I was going to say London Bollywood globalization. Show them Bollywood from India. Show them Chinese movies. Show them movies from Spain. And whichever movie they like the most, that they like the way that people dress and sound and behave, say, hey, you know what? We should learn those languages together as a family. Download stuff like Duolingo. Shout out to Duolingo, because that's how I learned a lot of vocabulary to come to Brazil. A lot of people, that's where I am now in Sao Paulo, Brazil. A lot of people don't seem to understand. Duolingo can't make you fluent in anything, but it can teach you how to read and write. So when you get there, you can go to a bus stop, know where you're going, get on a train, go to a restaurant, know how to order the food that you want to eat. Get them on Duolingo, and then do a family lesson of language every Saturday. Hire somebody to come to your house for 2 hours to teach the whole family the basics of the language that your kids were looking at. Let me show you guys what I did yesterday. I might do this more if more people are interested in seeing it. You see this live class, Portuguese no Brasil? I did a 20-minute Duolingo class online. I just did it online instead of on my computer or on my phone, just to do it differently and show people that, yeah, even though I'm not good at it, I'm still hustling my way at it. But imagine this. This is what I said to her. Imagine your kids being 18 years old, graduating from high school at a stereotypical age. But they're not just regular 18-year-old kids. They're average B minus students, maybe even C plus students. You can still get away with a lot. But they're almost fluent in a second language. What a lot of people don't know is that you can apply to college anywhere in the world, and that the United States is, I think, the only country in any developed nation, and I can't think of any undeveloped nation, that makes you pay in debt for college. So if your children, let's say they watched a movie in French and they said, we want to learn French, and you spent their childhood 2 hours a week with a French teacher coming to your house and paying for a French teacher at Starbucks to teach the family basics of French, how to order coffee, how to ask for a sandwich. But by the time they graduate high school, they're almost fluent in it. And they can fill out an application at a French university that just says, oh, well, you speak French, even though you're from America, and college is free here, so we'll just accept you. You just got to pay for a plane ticket. So now the kids go from, let me see. So now the kids go from a situation where the parents might have had to chip in part of their retirement money to pay for their kids' education. Now they can just fly the kids to France, pay for their food, and they can go to a free university. And you can fill in France for whatever country you want. I told her, don't just force it, because she likes Spain. I said, don't force the kids to learn Spanish if that's not what they want. Show them movies from everywhere. And that's a tidbit I'm giving you that I know works, that has worked for some of my friends. Let's see what BK said. BK, bro, I was working on my PhD. I was going to be so pigeonholed that I was really motivated to take a free master's degree because of all the opportunities it had versus a doctorate degree. Free master's degree, yeah, I'll take 2. Thank you. You can PM me with that one if they still got a free master's degree program all day, every day. NC Worker, I'm a late millennial and I'm in school now. NC Worker, can you tell me a little bit more about where you're in school, what you're studying? I don't want you to have to go too personal if you don't want to, but if you can flesh that out for me. So I went over the websites. I went over making sure the kids learn a language so that they can be in a situation to apply for college in other countries. And again, a lot of people don't know that if you speak the language of another country, you can just apply for their college there. And even if you have to pay full price tuition, it's still a fraction of what you pay in the United States. The other issue that a lot of Americans have is, and this is that American exceptionalism, which is an American conceit that Americans have, but we don't know is that there are colleges around the world that are just as good as any in America, but you're intentionally never taught that. Like nobody wants you to know that. Nobody wants you to know that. Nobody wants you to know that there are colleges all over the world that are just as good as the one you're in now. But that's part of what makes America America, that fundamental belief that this is the only way and that you have to stay here. Let's see. Second languages are gold. U.S. is the laziest developed country that doesn't foster second language. It's unfortunate. What's interesting is when you travel anywhere outside the United States, most people speak their language and a little bit of something else. Now, that might be geographically because other countries are closer to each other. But for children in the United States, to graduate high school, learning things that they may not use. Some people saw, I was talking the other day about how there are all these university PhD level researchers saying, stop teaching children geometry and algebra. How about you just give them another 3 or 4 years of basic adding, subtracting, multiplication, and division? And those findings were backed up by business professionals that said, listen, I'm a chief financial officer. I'm the manager of a restaurant. We don't use calculus. We add and subtract. And the ones who are good at it can do it in their head. I had a buddy of mine who studied speed math. And when I was in university, one of the after-school jobs I had was monitoring the pool hall and the game room. And at night, I would count down the register. And he would stand next to me and race me with my calculator, and he could do it faster than I could. That's a skill I know he's made money on, especially if he keeps it a secret. BK, what else do you speak? Man, that was smart and awesome. Yeah. Raining, do you speak any other language? If I can encourage people to start learning any other language, I sincerely want you to. I sincerely want you to, because it matters. It matters a lot. Where else can we go with this? I've got a few other tidbits floating around in my mind that I don't want to give you just yet, because I don't want to give information that is not, that I don't know to be consistently true or as true as possible. So I may have to come back to this later. As I said before, I need everyone watching this to make sure you click the subscribe button, no matter when you're watching this. I don't care if it's live or not. But I need you to watch this, and I need you to click the thumbs up and share it somewhere. I tell people all the time, share it on your Facebook or your Twitter or your Instagram. And I tell a lot of people, share the talks that I have on your Tinder account. And what you do is you say, listen, if we can't have a conversation this deep about something going on in the world, we're not fucking. I guarantee you'll get some great conversations out of it. A lot of people don't know what to say when they match with somebody online. There you go. Rainy woman. I speak Spanish a little, and I've been considering learning another language and becoming fluent in Spanish. If you speak Spanish a little, master it. Like, really get down and master it. Or even better than that, since you speak Spanish a little, move to a Spanish-speaking country. Move to Spain. Move to Colombia. I've got connections out there in Colombia. Actually, here, I'll show you one right now. Let's see. Colombia. I don't know if you saw this one, but if you're interested in Colombia to go and master your Spanish, which a lot of my friends do, there, meet Ebony, the Colombian Connection. Ebony's a friend of mine. She lived in Colombia for years, got her Spanish down cold. Colombia is a place where you can live either with a job or without a job because the cost of living is low. You can live amongst the people and have a great life. If I can put you in contact with anybody else, let me know, but I'm here for you. Oh, let's see. So yes, I do have connections in Colombia. Yeah, my master's degree was free because I was in a PhD program. Okay, but completed all the requirements for the master's degree in 2 years. So going into my third year, I started applying for jobs. You pulled a fast one on them, and I'm glad. I love to see people outsmarting the system. BK, you and I are going to have to chat at some point. Let's see, I've been working on Spanish and Mandarin, the Echo language YouTube channel. I'm working on it. I don't know what the Echo language is. The Echo channel. You should do something on your channel about that, about the importance of, stretching your mind out, learning a different language. And I'd love to be part of that. You can tell. Do you know Echo language? Are they friends of yours? Or, what do they do? Do they have an app? Let's talk about that later. In any case, folks, let's see. You can go out there and dance. As I always say, I love you all and thank you for watching and chatting and being part of whatever it is that I'm doing here. I'm at 771 subscribers. My goal is to break 1,000 in not too long because YouTube opens up other features. And that's why I don't just need everybody to watch, participate. I hope everybody has a great day and thank you all so much. And I love you all. Bye-bye.